What's up, everyone? And today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Watts. Now, Watts is a very interesting deck profile that revolves around attacking directly. Now, interesting thing about the Watts, honest opinion, they aren't that great. However, they do have a few good cards, and you can play them in very interesting ways to kind of make up for that sort of loss, as you can kind of like see right here. And another thing I do want to mention before I get into the deck profile, this is being recorded before the January 2022 ban list, so this deck could probably change if Colossus comes back to 1. I don't know if it will, it may not, but if it does, that's definitely a card I would definitely use in Watts. But without further ado, let's get right into it. First, I run 3 Watt Giraffe. Watt Giraffe is easily the best Watt monster. Now, all the Watts, at least the 3 main Watts, have the ability to where they can attack directly, and they gain different effects if they inflict battle damage. Watt Giraffe, if this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by a direct attack, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of this turn. So basically, if this attacks directly, you shut off everything on your opponent's field. Hand traps, spells, monsters, whatever. One cool thing is that allows you to build that sort of board to where you can build your board unchallenged, more or less. Of course, the one downside is this has to attack directly in order for that to happen, which means you can't do that going first. So that's why I run more of a going second build. I run 3 Watt Cobra. Now, Watt Cobra, if this card attacks your opponents directly, or if this card inflicts battle damage via direct attack, you can add 1 Watt monster from your deck to your hand. I also run the 2 Watt Pheasant. When this card inflicts battle damage by direct attack, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field, well, here it says select 1 face-up, so I don't know if there's updated wording, maybe it says something different. But as far as I know, they've only had the one printing, so I don't know. The select being same thing, it's hard. I know Yu-Gi-Oh! Wording's weird, but either way, select 1 face-up monster on the field and remove it from play until the end phase of this turn. That could be very useful for getting rid of problematic cards. Granted, since you're playing the Utopia package, you definitely want a face-up monster to remain on the field to attack for game. Next, I run the 3 Maw Hunter and the 3 Paw Hunter. They have the same effect. Once per turn, you can also summon 1 level 4 light thunder type monster from your hand, except Maw Hunter, as an additional normal summon. So if you draw multiple, you can continuously go into each other. Like, let's say you got 2 Paw Hunter, 2 Maw Hunter. You can go Maw Hunter, Paw Hunter, Maw Hunter, Paw Hunter, and then summon a Watt. So it really allows you to build a board pretty easily. You can go into XYZ plays, Link plays. So definitely a card you want to see in your hand as much as possible. Now, one thing I noticed with like a lot of Watt deck profiles, that they play some cards that aren't really like, I've seen a lot of people run Thunder Seahorse, which in my opinion is an awful card that shouldn't be ran, because honestly, as far as the Watts and Thunder cards, right here is really what you need to run. Maybe an extra Watt Pheasant, maybe take out a Watt Cobra or something. But ideally, these are the only monsters you want to run. You also got cards like Bro Hunter and Sis Hunter, which Sis Hunter's not good. Bro Hunter's okay, but you can't really get much off of it, because when it's normal summon, you can add 1 monster. But usually, I'd rather have the Maw Hunter, Paw Hunter, because they can allow you to build more boards. If you just have the Bro Hunter, you can normal summon, add 1, then 1. Unless you open double summon, which I do run in this deck, it's not really going to give you any sort of extra advantage, so I just cut it out entirely. I did say this was a going second deck, so I do run a bunch of hand traps, like the 3 Nibiru, the 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, and the 2 Effect Veiler. These are definitely the hand traps I'm running. I feel like these are basically the 3 best hand traps of the format. You got other options like Droll, Bell, Crow, Lancia. And I originally actually did have Crow in, but I took it out for a different card. Moving on to the spells, I run 3 Small World. Small World is definitely a card that honestly took me a while to kind of like figure out what it was really doing, because I was kind of confused when reading this. And the one cool thing is that it really works with cards like Effect Veiler and Nibiru. And you can use those if you don't really need to use them as a Small World fodder. Or if you happen to have an extra Watt in your hand, you can use that as well. Because basically with this, you could take one of your either Effect Veiler, Nibiru, Watts, or Hunters, and turn it into literally any of other copies of that stuff. So let's say I have a 1 Paw Hunter, a Watt Giraffe, and a Watt Cobra. I can take the Watt Cobra, or I use the effect of Watt Cobra, reveal a Watt Cobra or something in the hand, and then add a Maw Hunter to do some more play. So basically it allows you to swap one card in your hand with the more desirable card in your deck. Because what this card does is you reveal one monster in your hand, choose one monster from your deck that has exactly one of the same type, attribute, level, attack, or defense, and banish the revealed card face down, roll the one from your hand, add from your deck to hand one monster that has exactly one of the same type, attribute, level, attack, defense as that monster chosen from your deck, then banish the card chosen from the deck face down, which is the first one. It's a very kind of wordy and difficult card to understand at first, but basically it's a kind of like a 1-for-1, although not really special something for the deck, but you take one card in your hand, banish it, and add a card you'd rather have to your hand. So it kind of boosts consistency in a way. I run 3 Photon Sanctuary. Now, Photon Sanctuary I've had mixed feelings for. The one thing I want to say on it, why is the copy like $8? I don't get it. It just doesn't make sense to me, but either ways. Photon Sanctuary is a pretty cool card because it generates tokens. You can summon 4 Photon tokens, level 4, attack 2000. Although the one thing that it does kind of like hurt you a little bit, it does lock you into light monsters. Thankfully, you got a lot of light monsters you can use. I find it, one thing about tokens, I find it pretty weird they can't use them for XYZ monsters. You can use it for fusions, slinks, and synchros, but why not XYZ Fountain? I don't get it, but there's definitely links you can go into, as you will see later on in the video. And it doesn't really stop you from going into Utopia Double, but if you want to run a Thunder Dragon kind of Watt version, if Colossus comes back to 1, this card may be more of a side deck card than a main deck card. Next, I run 3 Pot of Prosperity. Originally, I was going to run Triple Tactics Talents, but unfortunately, at the moment, I still only have 1. So I can't really run 3 Triple Tactics, and obviously, I'm trying to make decks perhaps will actually have all the cards, because honestly, I hate proxying, but Pot of Prosperity is definitely good because it can allow you to dig for the rad card, because there could be instances where you see maybe a Maw Hunter and that's it, or you see 2 Watt monsters, because what you need is a Maw Hunter or Paw Hunter and one of the other Thunder monsters. Doesn't really matter which. And that basically allows you to go into Utopia Double. You just need to get 2 level 4 monsters on the field. I also run 3 Double Summon. Definitely a huge benefit because the Hunters definitely gain effects. They give you additional normal summons, and Double Summon allows you to summon an even extra one on top of that, because if you have more Watts than Hunters, you're going to end up with a lot of extra Watts in hands, and that way you can at least bring them out and do something with it. Like, let's say your opponent has Phoenix Force on the field and you negate its effects. An attack from Utopia Double, or attack from Utopia, will not kill it. But if you have like maybe a Watt Giraffe on the field, that might be enough to kind of finish it off. So it's basically kind of like help finish it up more or less. One call by the Grey because you don't want to get hand trapped. I also run the 1 Crossout Designator. I would run 3, but unfortunately I don't have 3 because I ordered some and they never arrived, which was pretty sad. I run 1 Harpy's Featherstorm, or Harpy's Feather Duster. I had an extra spot and I was kind of thinking like, what do I want to put, like an Upstart? But no, that conflicts with Prosperity. I had Triple T. But I just actually decided to go for Harpy's Feather Duster because in practice, traps definitely kind of did hurt this deck quite a bit, and this at least basically allows you to clear your opponent's back row, so you don't really have to worry about that. I also run the 1 Double or Nothing for the Utopia Double plays. There is another card I originally was running, but I kind of put it more... I don't really quite like it as much. Like, I'd rather run a Droplet over this, but I don't have Droplet at the moment, and that was the Psychic Eraser Laser. But I feel like Nibiru, Ash, Valor, and the next card is basically good enough to kind of like do that on its own. Next, I run 2 Imperm. I could run a 3rd, but I'd rather run the Harpy's Feather Duster just to kind of help with the back row situation. Moving on to the extra deck. First off, obviously I run the 1 Utopia Double and the 1 Utopia. Honestly, I actually really like this art better. I don't know if that's just a me opinion or... But, the Utopia Double combo is very simple. You summon Utopia Double, use this effect, add the Double or Nothing, which will then allow you to summon Utopia using Utopia Double's material. And then attack becomes 5,000, then Utopia Double will bring it to 10,000 to attack per game. In most scenarios, if they have a monster with 2,000 or more attack, obviously That's not going to be game. That's one of the cool advantages as to running this with Watts, because Watts can attack directly. And let's say you have something that, like, let's say you're going against Floowandereeze and they have M-Pin on the field. You can attack with your Watt Giraffe, which will negate their, like, obviously, like, it'll negate, but I'm just trying to use that example because Watt Giraffe negates all the effects, so it allows you to go through with Utopia basically unchallenged. Also run 2 Divine Arsenal Zeus as more of a backup plan. If Utopia doesn't really finish the job, then I can also just slap a Zeus on top of it, and Zeus probably will do the job because it's Zeus. It's basically detach 2, nuke the board. Also run the one Exciton Knight. Exciton Knight's pretty cool because you can detach it to basically kind of like Zeus, nuke the field. All it doesn't have much attack, and it's only like a once per chain, so it has to go in response to something. And it can only be activated during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase. So it's kind of a little bit iffy, but it does come up. I run the one Daigusto Emerald because sometimes you're just gonna go into another XYZ, like if you're going first, because this is going in second deck, so you're gonna struggle a lot more going first. That's why I play cards like Exciton Knight, Emerald, and Abyss Dweller to kind of like help with that. For the links, I run the one Bujinki Ahashima. Ahashima, if this card is linked summon, you get special summon 1 monster from your hand and 1 monster from your graveyard, but the same level. So basically, if you use Photon Sanctuary, you link it into the Ahashima, you can bring out 1 Wa or Hunter from your grave and 1 from your hand, which is definitely really good. It allows you to kind of like extend more, and you can make essentially allows you to make a rank 4 with the Photon Sanctuary. So this basically allows that Photon Sanctuary to be actually more of a playable card. Next, I run the one Crusader Equimax. Equimax basically gains attack of all monsters card points to. It can come up situationally, obviously, if you have the Utopia double. If it's pointing to the Utopia, then obviously it's going to be getting a lot of attack, and will help you basically push over almost anything. I run the one Lina. It's a generic light link monster. When it's destroyed, you can search out a light monster that has 1500 less attack or defense, which is basically all of the Watts and all the Hunters. I run the one Summer Summoner. Once per opponent's turn quick effect, you can discard 1 card and target 1 Thunder monster graveyard, except a link monster, special summon it to a zone this card points to. I really hate how that's a quick effect during only your opponent's turn, which I think kind of takes away from it a little bit. I also run the one Nightmare Phoenix to deal with any pesky back rows like Imperial Order, because if they activate Imperial Order or Anti-Spell Fragrance, yikes. That's all I can say. And I also run the one Appaloosa and Access Code Talker. Are you really likely to make them? No, but if you can, they're very strong cards. Obviously, Access Code is one of the most played link monsters in the game. Appaloosa right alongside it. And that is all for this deck profile. Let me know, what do you think? Do you think it's a pretty cool deck? Do you think if Colossus comes back, well, first off, do you think Colossus is going to come back? But if it does come back, do you think it's going to make this deck a lot better? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.